And welcome to another edition of BCSN Sports Flash. Greg Frankie with actually somebody from closer to our Erie County BCSN neck of the woods in Kennedy Gennari, but she is such a fine young lady. I'd like to have everybody in our Toledo area get to know her as well. She has a lot of things that are very, very interesting. She was third in the state as a junior in the long jump in the state of Ohio. And for her division, she's currently a cheerleader at the University of Cincinnati and is very interested and is going to be pursuing a career in broadcasting. And in fact, I had the pleasure of being your mentor when you did your senior project last year. I love the story of how that all came about. It had to do with a game that you were a cheerleader for Sandusky St. Mary Central Catholic, and the lights went out.
Yes.
And because the lights went out, I couldn't be there that night, but the next night I was able to be in attendance, and I heard when they were introducing, because it was senior night, and they said Kennedy Gennari was interested in communication. So I thought, perfect, someone we can get on BCSN. And you tell the rest of the story.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it worked out.
You were going to Ohio State the next day, right?
I was supposed to be, the lights went out of the game, and the following day was when the game was rescheduled, but I wasn't supposed to attend. I had a cheerleading clinic at Ohio State that I had paid for and planned to go, but I didn't really want to miss my senior night either. So I was devastated about it, but I went to my senior night, and they announced me, and I guess long story short, you were there. And then at one of our, I think our first district basketball game you were at as well, and you had talked to
Melody Curtis, who was the president of St. Mary Central Catholic at that time. She said, Kennedy is one of the best kids in our whole school. How'd you like to be your senior mentor? I said, that sounds all right.
Yeah, and I didn't have a senior project at the time, and it was something that I was looking into doing something in broadcasting, so it worked out perfectly. Now,
Ohio State went on to win the national championship. Did you ever once think, now, if the lights hadn't gone out that night, I might have been there? Did you ever think that?
I mean, of course I thought about it, but I'm definitely happy with how everything turned out and where I'm at now. So, again, everything happens for a reason.
I wouldn't trade the BCSN experience for a national championship. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't give that a second thought. Now, your athletic career was quite fascinating. You were in track and field. I think at one point you didn't really think that's what you wanted to do, but you ended up doing that. And as I said, you were third in the state as a junior in the long jump. And it was kind of a strange situation, though, because you weren't very high in the standings until your final jump, and then literally you jumped from the bottom to the top. So talk about how that happened.
Yeah, I had made it to Columbus, and of course I thought placing would be awesome, but I can't say it was my goal to. I didn't think I was going to be upset if I didn't place, but I made it to finals, so of course I would want to place at that point. Top 9 go to finals, and top 8 place, and I went in, I think I was sitting 7th or 6th at the beginning of finals, and everybody gets 3 jumps. And by my last jump, I didn't realize at the time, but I was in 9th, so I wouldn't have even podiumed. And I thought I was sitting 8th. I thought I was okay in the clear, but my last jump, I jumped well, and I PR'd and rebroke our record and went from 9th place to 3rd place.
What happened in that one jump? Did you sense right away, this is a lot better than I've been doing? Or did you just do what you normally did and just let the chips fall where they may?
Yeah, I feel like I wasn't really stressed about it, which was nice. I didn't put too much pressure on myself. I had made it to state, which I was super excited about. And I guess just letting your training take over and everything you know you're supposed to do just happening.
I think you'd missed maybe the year before because of an injury. Is that correct?
Yeah, I had a broken tibia my sophomore year.
And then the next year, you went back to state as a senior, and you had a great experience. You were part of the 4x2 relay team that got to the podium. Your sister participated with you, Ireland. I think a shout out there, and your whole team. But you were basically running on a fractured foot, and you weren't able to perform as. I'm still amazed that you could get around the track as well as you did. But it obviously affected your jump. And you didn't place as high. You were shooting for nothing less than the state championship that particular day. And I think it goes to show that when you have a chance, you really have to take advantage of it, because you just never know. Injuries could come up or any number of things, and it looks like the next year you're going to be able to improve on what you did, but it doesn't always work that way.
Exactly, yeah. It wasn't what I'd planned, of course, but I was super happy to be on a relay with my sister and some of my friends that was able to podium.
So how did you get interested in broadcasting and communications and all that?
You know, I'm not really sure where it all began. It was funny because when I started to actually think of the idea, I started with, oh, maybe I'd want to be a weather girl or something along the lines of that. And looking back, when I was really young, I used to be at my grandparents' house, and I would get a coffee mug and some papers, and every morning with my cousins we would have our own newscasting show. So I kind of, you know, would pretend, and I didn't remember that until I'd actually thought about going into broadcasting. So I guess maybe there was always a minimal interest, but I guess as I got into high school I realized I didn't really like science. I loved to talk and I loved people, so I just something in that area, I
gravitated
suppose.
Right toward. I could see you saying scattered showers, mostly cloudy. I think you might have a career there, but you might even have other things that you can do too. How did you find the project in terms of the things last year that you learned about broadcasting that you think will be maybe an interest for you going forward at Cincinnati?
I learned a lot on my senior project, which was awesome. I got to learn a little bit of every area of broadcasting. Of course, I would love to be in front of the camera, but the behind-the-scenes stuff is really awesome, and my major at Cincinnati is called electronic media, and it's kind of all aspects of media production, from in front of the camera stuff, but we also learn about video editing and audio and everything in that area, websites and stuff.
Did an awesome PowerPoint presentation that made the most important meeting we ever had. Talk very quickly about Cincinnati. How did you enjoy it there? You cheered in a lot of big venues with big crowds and stadiums. It must have been cool. Yeah,
I had an awesome first year at Cincinnati. Our games for football season were at Paul Brown Stadium, which is where the Bengals play, because our stadium is being redone. So that was an awesome experience, but I'm super excited to be at our stadium Nippert this year. They just did a cool expansion, and just the atmosphere there is awesome. So many people, diehard Bearcat fans. I'm very lucky to have the opportunity.
It was the home of the Bengals long before you were even born. It's a great historic old stadium, and good luck there with that, and hopefully you'll see you doing great things in broadcasting as your career goes on.
Thank you so much.
Kennedy Gennari from Sandusky St. Mary Central Catholic, now at University of Cincinnati, and a former BCSN senior project member. And that's it for our edition tonight. Greg Franke for BCSN Sports Flash.